Hello and welcome back to the Be More Connected Summit. I'm your host, Elyse Preston, founder of Be More Connected, and today we are here with Caroline Shola Arewa, and she is known as the Energy Doctor. After transforming lives worldwide for more than 3 decades, her pioneering and award-winning work, she's passionate about health, wellness, and supporting you to feel energized and empowered to do the work that you really love, thus creating a meaningful, purpose-driven life. Shola offers you the opportunity to get your energy back and your life on track. She is a psychologist, coach, yoga teacher, trainer, speaker, mentor, and author. Shola, thank you so much for being here today.
Hey, thank you for inviting me, Elyse.
Yes, absolutely. And I love to start by asking guests to share a bit about their journey of healing and what's gotten them to where they are today.
Wow. I think that everything really changed for me, as you say, it's kind of 3.5 decades or so ago. I actually had a fashion business at the time. And, I was enjoying it. And actually, at that time, I was on purpose. That was my purpose for a number of years. But then I just reached a stage where I felt like there must be more to life. And that's what kind of caused me to just decide to travel and just leave everything behind. And so I decided to just go. And I went for what turned out to be 2.5 years. I kind of told people I might be going for 2 weeks or 2 months or 2 years to make sure that I covered all the bases. And during that journey of 2.5 years, I had the kind of good fortune of, one, seeing people who I did not like. People acting in ways that I did not like, doing things that I didn't like. Now, also had the good fortune to recognize that everything that they was doing, I was doing as well. So I really had this chance to kind of see myself, the kind of good, the bad, and the ugly. And it kind of caused me to seek something different within myself. And during that time, really everything transformed. I kind of let go of so many things and found so many other things within myself that were more kind of elevating and whole and all of those things. And so after that journey, I came back and kind of everything changed really for me. I then became devoted to supporting other people to transform their lives as well. So kind of energetically, I moved from the outside of the body, from the kind of get some new clothes, change your life, to kind of moving right into the core center and working with chakras, working with energy, and changing your life from the inside out.
That's so powerful. And I think that thread that you spoke about, really seeing the outside world as a mirror in terms of reflecting some of the things that are going on internally with us and being able to allow that to be a great teacher is so powerful.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So I'll be, forever grateful.
And I heard you talk about living on purpose. And I'd love to dig in deeper about what that means for you.
Yeah. Well, I think what happened with this journey that I took myself was it caused me to connect more deeply with what is really meaningful, and also to develop the skills of listening, listening to that still small voice within. And as a result of doing that, I was able to tap back in to what I believe is that kind of original contract that we make on the other side before we take our incarnation. And through kind of being able to really listen and hear, I think we can be directed to answer our calling. And when we answer that calling that's when I believe we start to live on purpose. When we listen, we can be kind of really guided, and something greater than us becomes the kind of co-director, if you like, of our lives.
Yes. And how do you support people with living on purpose?
Oh, there's many things that I do. One of the things that I'm loving doing at the moment is Enlightened Entrepreneurs, because it's supporting me to support other people to really blend these two aspects. And one is a spiritual, so being able to work from a place of spirit first in our lives, but also to be able to show up on purpose and do the kind of work in the world that we're called to do. And that takes some energy. That takes energy to get real clear about what it is, to get the confidence that we need, to get the skills that we need, and to be kind of continuously supported once we have those things to stay living on purpose. So they're the things that I really do with people in Enlightened Entrepreneurs. So we support with the kind of personal side and the spiritual side, and then also the professional side. So supporting this professional skills that are needed, and also kind of financially, really helping people get clear in terms of their abundance and prosperity as well. So we have all of that going on in Enlightened Entrepreneurs.
Yes, such powerful work. And you're known as the energy doctor. Can you tell me a bit more about that work?
Yeah, that's me, the energy doctor. Anyone who knows my work knows that pretty much anything and everything that I do is energy focused. Mm-hmm. So, people will talk about energy being everything. I'm sure you've heard that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So for myself, I take that very, very literally. And so I work in a way where energy is kind of core center of everything that's done. So for example, in Enlightened Entrepreneurs, we work with the chakra system. So each month, at the beginning of the month, there's a meditation and it's focused on one of the chakras. It's also looking at what's going on kind of externally in terms of the moon cycles and where the sun is and all of those things. So we kind of use all of that for the work that we do on a daily basis in the world. We look at energy in terms of, what is your dominant, what is your signature energy? How, in terms of how you show up in the world. When you really understand that and other people's, it just supports our kind of communication, our appreciation of people, our ability to be like, okay, that's them, they're just in their element. They're kind of, that is their energetic signature. It just makes it easy then to be with people, be accepting of others and ourselves.
Yes. And I think that it's so important during this time for us to really have tools to support us in understanding our energy better and understanding the energy of those around us. And sometimes I think there's a lot of talk about energy conversations being super woo-woo, super spiritual, but it is highly scientific that everything around us carries a frequency and a vibration. And when we're able to really tap into that energy and flow with it in an authentic way, we can experience so much more flow and connectivity and reduce some of those barriers and stress and strain and resistance.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's really important to understand that we're not just physical beings. It doesn't matter how we show up in the world, we're not merely physical beings. And I think one of the things I love about energy is it's a common language. So people will talk about feeling low in energy or feeling kind of drained of energy, or they don't like somebody's energy. Or so they're the things that we're kind of familiar with, but also we have a kind of metaphorical energetic language as well that explains what's going on energetically. So for example, if we would say things like, I've got a broken heart,
Mm.
Well, I mean, let's face it, on a physiological level, the heart is not going to break.
Right.
So what is really happening? So what's happening is that severing, if you like, is on an energetic level. So these things are already common in our language. It's not anything new. We already have it there, but it's just understanding what these things mean, what they really mean. Someone stabbing you in the back. Ain't nobody stabbing you in the back.
Right.
But we feel like somebody stabbed us in the back, or we feel weak at the knees, or something's a pain in the neck. This is our energetic language.
100%.
Yeah, how we communicate.
And do you have advice for our audience about how they can stay energized during this time?
I always say the worst vice is advice.
Mm. So, fair.
And I say that because I think it's so different for everybody. But I'm going to share some things. But I do think when we are kind of working with energy or supporting others, there's no one size that fits all. So to have that in our awareness. But some of the things that we need to be really conscious about, there's kind of 4 areas that I identified as places where energy gets drained.
Mm-hmm.
And so these 4 areas are the kind of modalities actually that we use in Energy for Life.
Mm-hmm.
And they are, and so I hope you're all doing these anyway. So the first one is energy exercise. So one of the first things that will cause energy to become drained is being sedentary. Sitting at a desk, being at our computers, not having sufficient exercise, that is going to drain energy. So we need to really identify a exercise that works for us. I mean, I like energy exercise and I like yoga, but you could use any kind of exercise as long as you are kind of really working your body, moving your body and keeping your body energized and alive. That's the first one. The second one is, guesses, diet. Of course, what we eat is going to determine our energy levels. If we're eating kind of dead foods, then the energy is going to be low. We need live, colorful, high energy foods. The third one is what's going on in the mind. Energy psychology, what's happening in the mind. So one of the things that I think about is, if somebody upsets you on Monday, are you still telling the story on Thursday? Now, whoever done you bad, they're gone. But on Thursday, you could be continuing to drain your energy by telling that story over and over and over and over again, and trying to get everybody else all up in the story.
Right.
Major energy drain. And the other is, we need to think about how much energy we have going out. So whether that's in the home, whether that's in the workplace, obviously they're both the same right now, but we're going to think about energy balance. And what that means is, you cannot just exhale, you must inhale. So it's the same energetically. You cannot just be putting energy out, taking care of everyone, and not putting your own oxygen mask on. So we really have to think about balancing out how much energy is going out in our daily lives and how much is coming back in. Energy balance. So they're the 4 main kind of areas that we work with in Energy for Life. But there are four kind of areas to think about: your exercise, your food, what's going on in your mind, and actually rest, relaxation, meditation. That's the energy balance part. And all of that is self-care, extreme self-care.
Yes. And how about staying empowered during this time?
Staying empowered, really interesting, because I think staying empowered, again, listening, really listening and being able to stay in alignment with your own truth. I think that can be difficult sometimes, because maybe we're listening to the news all the time, for example, and we're getting kind of thrown by it energetically, or we're listening to what people are saying, or we're denying our own inner voice. So all of those things will cause us to feel disempowered. They will affect the solar plexus chakra, the fire energy in the body. So being empowered is really kind of listening to our own voice, being mindful whose company we keep, and also taking time to kind of come back to center using the energy balance techniques that I mentioned, the meditation, relaxation, mindfulness, things that will support us to come back to center so we can be in that place of internal power.
Such powerful practices. And I think that it is really beautiful the way that you pair being able to presence that energized state, that energized self, with the empowered self. Absolutely. Because bringing those elements together is what really allows us to tap into our highest potential.
That's right. Absolutely. And they're so important. For me, that's what's really in alignment. We need to be on purpose. So we need to know what that actually is. We also need to be kind of fully expressed. So we need to be able to show up with our own truth in the world. There's something that you bring to this world that nobody else can. Something unique, something amazing, something magnificent that you bring. And so if you deny that, then we don't have that at all in the world, and we will all suffer as a result of that. So we have a kind of responsibility as well to really show up.
Yes. And I think that's how we begin the work of shifting the world, one person at a time.
That's exactly how it changes. Exactly how it changes. And one of the things that I say is that people are watching you all the time. So Elyse, you know what it takes to create this summit. So people have been watching you the whole time. Now, some of those people watching you, some of them love you, and some of them, we ain't going to really talk about them. But people have been watching you the whole time. So you need to know for yourself, and you need to be able to, step up and do what you need to do in the world. Because if you were not creating this summit, it's not going to happen.
Right.
This summit, nobody else could have brought this to life. This is your charge.
Yes. And I think that right now we are experiencing a time of transformation, and people are feeling called to share their unique gifts. And I'm wondering if there's anything that you're really hoping that this time of change and transformation inspires.
There's a lot of things in there for me.
Definitely.
Because one, I'm not a big kind of person around hope.
Okay.
It's not really my vocab. I'm one that either trusts that kind of all is well, and what is happening is what needs to be happening, or I'm somebody who takes action. So they get up and do whatever needs to get done. And so kind of in that respect, I think that lots is kind of shifting energy-wise, for sure. So much is shifting. And I see both things. I see real suffering at the moment. I see real kind of emotional instability at the moment. And I also always see kind of potential and possibility. It's always there in any situation. We've been through so much already. We survived all of it. Everything that anyone listening has ever been through, you have survived that already, and you will survive this. And you get to choose. You get to choose what you want to kind of take away, what the blessings, the blessings, you get to choose what those blessings are for you. So maybe you also want to get up and take action. Maybe there's something that you now feel permission to kind of be about, that maybe before you were kind of, I don't know, procrastinating and just kind of taking easy. And now you're like, okay, no, I really need to step up.
Sure.
So yeah, I really think that it's a great time for people to listen to that still small voice within and then get up and take action.
Wonderful. And I love to ask all of our guests, what does being more connected mean to you?
So for me, being more connected is kind of threefold. For me, it's threefold. So one, it's about being connected. And I think of this in terms of chakras. So it's about being connected to self. So sacral chakra, still small voice, really listening, being present, connecting with oneself, putting your oxygen mask on, showing up and doing what you need to do. It's also about being connected to others. Love, compassion, empathy, closeness, ecstasy, whatever, being connected to other people. However we do it, if we're doing it in this way. And the third part of connection for me is about being connected to that which is greater than us.
Yes.
I just feel it's so important to tune in, to connect, to listen, because it creates ease. The reason that I do my spiritual practice is because it makes my life easy. Then I'm working with a co-director and just keeping things on purpose, elevating my own kind of passion and just showing up and doing that with ease.
Yes. And I think that is such an important message for a lot of people to hear, that actually being connected to ourselves, understanding our energy, makes our lives so much easier.
Exactly.
I think sometimes it can feel like an intimidating process or a challenging process or something that isn't accessible. But once we actually start to remove some of those barriers within our mindset, within ourselves, when we're able to surrender to being connected to something that's much greater than ourselves, that's where everything starts to really, really open up.
That's right. That's right. And so, it can be real simple as well. You may have a question or something that you're kind of struggling with. Then, you put that question to your higher self at night. You go to bed, you sleep, you rest, you wake up in the morning, you have that answer.
Yes.
It's just ease, that is just ease. So rather than kind of struggling with things, then, when we connect with that which is higher, that which is greater than ourselves, whatever we want to call it, because it has all kinds of terminology, it doesn't really matter. I just call it energy, it covers everything. Then that's when we can really come into alignment and create kind of more harmony, more peace, more kind of ease in our lives. And who doesn't want that?
Right. That's kind of the ultimate. And I would love if you could share how our audience can stay connected with you and share a bit about your free gift.
Yeah, well, I would love people to continue this conversation and stay connected. And there's several ways that you can connect with me. I have a free gift, which is about enlightened entrepreneurs. It's 7 steps to becoming an enlightened entrepreneur. And I believe we're going to share the link to that for people. It's a bit long, so that link will be there for you. You can also find me on Facebook. And I have a group, a free group on Facebook, which is called Wellness Revolutionaries. Wellness Revolutionaries, and I would love for people to come over and continue the conversation there as well.
Well, wonderful. And thank you so much for being here. I'm so grateful for you sharing all about how to really get in deeper alignment with ourselves so that we
Mhm.
can live in the world, speaking our authentic truth, owning who we are, and living a more energized and empowered life.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. Talk soon. And I hope that you all will tune in for our next interviews tomorrow on the Be More Connected Summit.